Hello, everybody. Welcome to my presentation on why children should participate and be placed into team sports. So to begin, we're just going to go over some of the key benefits that we'll be highlighting throughout this presentation. And for reference, I will be conducting this on 6 to 14-year-olds. So the first two kind of go hand in hand, physical health and having a healthy lifestyle. So as kids are placed into team sports, it forces them to reach that 150 minutes of exercise per week much faster and much more efficiently. It also helps them establish the foundation for what they'll be doing the rest of their lives in terms of exercise and remaining physically fit, both mentally and physically. And by involving them in team sports, it sets them up for success in this regard. So we'll also be discussing social skills development. As you're in team sports, it essentially forces you to communicate and build with that small community of people that you have and understand the different personalities and values that come with just having different people around. And as kids, this is massive because you understand that not everybody's the same as you, and they share different values and opinions and skills. And by learning this at a young age, you're setting your children up for success in social aspect, which is massive in the world that we live in today. Psychological benefits also include self-esteem. It provides stress relief, and this kind of happens because as kids are placed into team sports, it gives them an outlet for all their energy and emotions, and they can really leave everything out on the field, thus boosting their mental health. We'll also be discussing academic performance. It's been proven that student athletes actually do much better in academics just because of the multiple concepts that they learn by being in team sports, and we'll discuss that as well. And lastly, we'll be discussing building friendships as children, as this is one of the most important things for kids, understanding each other and having a social construct and hierarchy, a sense of belonging. We'll discuss this in detail further in the coming slides. So why does this matter? Why am I telling you this? I'm going to go ahead and share a personal story of mine, and hopefully some of you guys can relate or connect. So I was placed into soccer at the age of 7, and I've been playing now for all my life, basically since 7 years old. And I really have to thank my parents for that because I learned in hindsight now, at that age, I wasn't a very social kid. I was very to myself. And by putting me into a team sport, something that I'm not very comfortable in, it allowed me to understand social constructs even as a child, just how it works, how communicating works. And this has really impacted me in my career and professional studies now, as I understand the intricacies of working around different values and peoples and beliefs much better, just because being in a team, you understand that you have to work as a collective and not everything's going to go your way, but you have to continue to move forward with that. And I learned that at a very young age, which I'm very thankful for. I also learned a lot of other things such as leadership. I realized my basis for always wanting to be in a leadership position began by being put into team sports because I wanted to be the best. I wanted to excel. And by putting me into team sports, it indirectly affected who I am as a person, my personality, and the person I am today. So I'm very thankful for that. And I've also learned multiple other things that we will discuss in this presentation. So let's dive right on into it. We're going to be talking about physical aspects and benefits first. So most obviously, you're putting your kids in physical exercise, which is very good for their body. This lays a solid foundation for the rest of their life, as you only get one body and mind, and you have to take care of it. And by putting kids into team sports at this age, you're telling them and letting them understand that work has to be put in. And this is done through the following. So it improves your muscle and bone development, as most sports offers have some type of rigorous activity, whether that be physicality, such as football, or cardio, such as soccer, where you're running most of the time. And all this just improves your children's health and once again lays the foundation for the future. I, for example, wouldn't be a runner. I also run now had I not been put into soccer and had I not exercised those vital organs that I needed to improve at a young age to do this now. And it also reduces chronic diseases, diabetes, asthma, heart disease, all things you don't want in your children. And now moving on to the mind, psychological aspects that are beneficial. it improves self-image. When you're put into team sports as a child, you have to earn your place in the team. You have to understand that your goals will not be met just by saying them. You have to put in the work. And this is massive for kids because this life works that way, and you have to learn that at a young age. It also provides stress relief for kids who don't have an outlet. It's great for their mental health. It allows them to let everything go, their emotions, their energy, and that way it improves their mental health and overall mental health benefits as well. Being in physical exercise or in a team sport because you're partaking in camaraderie and with everybody else, it helps mitigate against depression and anxiety and that feeling of isolation as a kid when you don't really feel understood. You have this support group around you essentially. And now moving on. There we go. On the left-hand side, now you'll see some of the interconnected benefits. So if you're looking at the first one, obviously, parents notice that it's beneficial to their physical health. Like I said again, if you're being put into sports, it's inevitable you're going to get better in certain aspects of your physical health. And you can also read other ones such as bettering child's social life, how they get along with other people, such as the social factors that we will discuss shortly. And on the right-hand side, you will also see like a life cycle essentially of how physically active children end up becoming active parents, and then they'll put that values into their kids, thus creating a healthier bloodline essentially. And you'll see points in there such as they're 1/10 as likely to be obese, 15% more likely to college. Just like I said, a lot of these things that you learn in team sports affect you for the rest of your life, and a lot of these skills that you learn will stay with you for the rest of your life. And this is very important to instill into children at a young age. And next, we will be discussing social skills development. Um, so in team sports, you have to be social. You you can't just sit there and not say any words. It's forced out of you as a kid, especially because your parents aren't going to give you a choice. And it sounds bad, but it's really a good thing. Um, as sometimes with kids, you need to bring it out of them, and once it's out, it'll stay out there. So it improves their teamwork because in a team, you're focusing on one goal, and everybody, as long as everybody's connected, achieving that goal, it helps them understand everybody in a group of people a lot more easier, thus enhancing their communication skills and their effective communication. This also improves their leadership. In a team, there's natural leaders and there's people who aren't natural leaders, which is okay. But the people that who do excel as leaders at a young age in children, um, they gain a lot of insight on what it's like to be in the real world. You're going to have to be in charge of people. You have to make sure that everybody's needs and values are met and everyone's being heard. And this is very important for kids to understand that being a leader doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. You have to understand these constructs and hierarchies that involve being in a team, and such as these social skills and social interaction. Obviously, as a kid in team sports, you're meeting different people of all types, of all skills, attributes, and this helps you expand on your connections as a kid and your network, which I know it doesn't seem too important, but as a kid, a lot of these friendships you make are gonna last for the rest of your life. For mine, such for example, when I was put into soccer at 7, I've still got a lot of these friends that I made all the way back then, and I'm very thankful for it. And on the right hand side, you will see the impact of team sports on social skills development. You'll notice about a 40-35% increase in all categories, which once again proves how beneficial it is. So I just gotta move my screen. There we go. Academic performance we'll be speaking about next. So you would think that sports and academics don't have a lot in common, but it's the values and the teachings that come in sports, team sports rather, that improves children's academic performance. So this can be done in the most obvious way: discipline, time management. If you're an adult putting your child into team sports, you're going to explain to them that it's a privilege to play. You have to be successful in all areas of your life. At least my parents were like this. You have to be successful in school and your academics, making sure you're doing things on time if you want to play. A lot of school teams do that as well. You have to be in good academic standing to play on the team. And for this reason, it helps kids understand that, once again, it's earned, not given. So this improves self-discipline, goal-setting skills. It also improves focus and concentration, understanding that when you have to get something done, you have to give it your all, especially in team sports. Sorry, I'm just gonna adjust this. It also leads to higher academic achievements. As you can see on the graph on the right-hand side, you'll see that student athletes versus non-student athletes, albeit this is college. However, children who play youth sports, youth team sports, transition into obviously playing later on in life most of the time. And also reduced effects of ADHD and ADD. Physical exercise can lead to this output of just raw energy, and it can help lessen these symptoms. And there's actually a fantastic quote by the CDC. They're pretty massive. I'd be surprised if you hadn't heard of them. Physical activity has a positive impact on cognitive skills, attitudes, and academic behavior, all of which are important components of improved academic performance. Once again, like I said, there's just a lot to be learned by putting your children into team sports. And it may seem like a little redundant because they're children, they don't understand these things, but the effects are there nonetheless. How cool was that? Hold on. What is happening? There we go. Next, we'll be talking about building friendships in team sports. Um, so obviously, when you're put into team sports, some kids, they don't necessarily like to be social, but as the children in team sports, the parents are also there to help children understand and grow as a team, as individuals, as leaders. And a lot of these social networks that are provided helps children form these long-lasting friendships, like I said in my example, in my personal story earlier. And for kids at school who don't necessarily have something to speak about to other kids, it gives them a space. It gives them a space to have something in common and reach something collectively together. And by doing so, it helps them create these networks and friendships a lot more easier. Common ground, obviously the shared interests, if it forms a camaraderie. Um, Being on like a soccer or basketball team, understanding that everyone's there to do the best they can for the other person. You form a bond with these people. It's inevitable. And as kids, you feel these emotions a lot harder. It also creates a sense of belonging for kids who don't necessarily feel included at school, who who are left out, picked on. It gives them a place with a diverse group of people, new people that they've never met before, and kind of gives them a fresh start. It reduces their loneliness and how they feel isolated. It also improves self-confidence, or social confidence rather, and self-confidence. It's once again building these skills at a young age that are going to last for the rest of your life. And by repeatedly being in these social situations, good or negative, you as children, they're understanding these things and keeping this in mind for future interactions. Oh man, there we go. So we're just going to recap everything that we've talked about. The obvious physical effects of being a child in a team sport. You're gonna be more healthy. The child's gonna obviously understand that this doesn't just come. You have to work. You have to practice to get better. And these are things that you can apply in all areas and aspects of life. We also talked about psychological, understanding that the mental health benefits also are there. I would put them up there right with the physical benefits because a healthy mind equals a healthy body. And as children, the foundation you lay will be there for the rest of your life. There's also social skills we discussed. Being in team sports helps understanding community and bringing people together, or children together rather, who not necessarily might not get along or not necessarily have the ability to socialize like at school or other areas. It gives them something to do together. Academic performance, obviously, a lot of these values that you learn playing team sports are transitioned straight into academics. Time management, discipline, these are all things kids should learn at a young age to further their career professionally or academically in the future. Friendship building, obviously, being part of a team, it's inevitable for most children that you're gonna like people on your team. You're gonna make friends, which is very good as kids need that social development to blossom into adults who understand how everything works later on in life. And with all these combined, it creates a holistic approach and holistic development. It's essentially combining all of these